going to take a look at deriving double angle identities, and how you do that is just use the sum and difference identities to find them. So for example, if I wanted sine of 2x, how do I write that as an addition? 2x is x plus x. That means a is x and b is also x. All right, so let's write this out as an addition. So the addition one is the top, which is plus. So sine A cosine B, cosine A sine B. And since A and B are both x, those are all x. Because it's addition, we're using the top, so that's going to be addition for that. All right, so let's combine this. So we have the same thing plus the same thing. It's two of the same thing. So 2 sine x cosine x. So the first double angle identity is sine of 2x, which is 2 sine x cosine x. All right, let's find cosine of 2x. So again, the same thing. How can I rewrite 2x? I can write x plus x. That means a is x, b is x. Now the rule for cosine is cosine, cosine, sine, sine. And then it's a, b. So both a and b are x, so all x's. And then plus is the top, and the top one is minus. So you're going to put minus. All right, let's combine. Cosine times cosine is cosine squared. Sine times sine is sine squared. So your double angle formula is cosine squared minus sine squared for cosine 2x. Every time I see a squared, I know Pythagorean theorem identity has something to do with it. So we can rewrite it using that. So sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. Let's rearrange that. So let's take cosine squared to the other side. It's going to be 1 minus cosine squared is equal to sine squared. Now let's plug that in for sine squared. So we have cosine squared x minus, now instead of sine squared x, we're going to plug that in. So 1 minus cosine squared x. All right, let's distribute the negative. That's going to be negative 1. And then distribute the negative again. That's positive cos squared x. All right, let's combine like terms. So cos squared x plus cos squared x is 2 of them. And then the minus 1. So this is another way of writing the identity. And you need to kind of be familiar with all three ways. Now, instead of me taking cosine squared to the other side, I'm going to take sine squared to the other side. So it'll be cosine squared equals 1 minus sine squared. Okay, let's go ahead and substitute that in. So instead of cosine squared, I'm going to put 1 minus sine squared. And then I'm going to subtract the sine squared. All right, there's nothing outside the parentheses, so I'm just going to rewrite this out again. This is a listening check. Color in example 3. Color in example 3. All right, let's combine like terms. So minus sine squared minus sine squared is going to be minus 2 of them, sine squared x. So that's another identity. So there are 3 ways of writing cosine 2x, so a double angle formula for cosine 2x. All right, we're going to find the double angle for tan. Now you understand the drift. X plus x is 2x, so a and b is x. Looking at the formula, tan plus or minus tan, so tan x, tan x, tan x, tan x. And it looks like I forgot to put this in, so copy that down. So it's a minus and a plus all over. So if I'm looking for plus, it'll be plus on the top and minus on the bottom. Same thing plus the same thing is 2 of them, so 2 tan x. And then I've got 1 minus, and then I've got multiplication, so it'll be squared x. All right, so there's one way of looking at it. But just like we did for cosine, we can rewrite that a different way. So using what you know about tan and sine and cosine, how can you rewrite this? Well, we know that tan is sine over cosine. So sine of 2x over cosine of 2x. And what's sine of 2x? Sine of 2x is 2 sine x cosine x. Listening check, put a box around example 5. What's cosine of 2x? Now, there are several you can pick from, but I'm just going to pick the first one we did. So cosine squared minus sine squared x. Now, if you use any, it's going to work no matter what. So it's really up to you. It doesn't matter. It's just whatever makes that easy. So this will be the formula, the second formula for tan of 2x. So double angle formulas. All right, so I'm going to write an expression in a single trigonomic. And you notice this double angle for sine is 2 sine cosine, right? So that means 2 sine cosine is a double angle for sine. So each angle, instead of having x, has pi over 6. So instead of x, it's pi over 6. And I'm going to write out the double angle formula, which is sine 2 times pi over 6. So it's going to be sine 2x, and x is pi over 6. So I'm going to replace that and say sine of 2 times pi over 6, and that simplifies to be pi over 3. So sine of pi over 3. Go ahead and do the other 2 examples based on the double angle formulas you now know, and let's practice.